What's up, everybody? It's Dandy back again, and we are doing more modded Minecraft tutorials. That's right, we are back at Tutorial Island once again. Last time we were hanging out over there and learning a little bit about magical flowers, but we're staying in the growth area and moving to our newest zone, of which we've added a few. We're moving to our little greenhouse down there, so I'm excited to talk about mystical agriculture. Let's dive right into it. Alright, don't mind the laboratory here, we'll get there later. Today we're going to the greenhouse to talk about a mod called Mystical Agriculture. So for those of you who have never played, Mystical Agriculture relies primarily on these altars right here, because it is a mod about creating seeds to grow any resource. I mean, almost any resource you can think of in the game, you are going to be able to make a seed for and grow for yourself. So let's dive right into it. Alright, so this mod has a lot of things that you can focus on, but we're going to start off with the very basics. That is going to be something called Inferium Essence. Now, you can find Inferium Essence as you float around through the world. It's just going to look like that. A lot of times you're going to get it from killing other mobs. Maybe you'll find it in chests as you're exploring, but it's just this green, powdery fire looking thing, kind of like gunpowder, but green. So you're going to want to gather as much of this as you can, because this is how you start the mod. You're also going to want to look for prosperity shards. You find these more often while you're mining. Again, you can find them in chests or other places, but mining is going to be probably your most likely spot to find them, and they just are these little kind of triangle, sort of like a white Dorito looking thing. So you're going to want to collect as much of these two resources as you can, and the first thing that you're going to want to make are called Inferium Seeds. Now, I have a couple in here already. They just look like this, but let me show you how to make them real quick. So Inferium Seeds are made pretty simply out of Inferium Essence and good old-fashioned seeds. So take a little bit of both, head to the crafting table, put a seed in the middle, and surround it with Inferium. And boom, you have an Inferium Seed. So Inferium Seeds are your one-stop shop for being able to actually grow the Inferium Essence that you see here, which again, you are going to need a lot of. So, you know, let's start growing it. It grows like basically any other seed, so we'll just put some water down right here and get some farmland going and plop our Inferium seed down. And as you can see there, it's starting to grow. It takes a while, like with anything, but we have some bone meal, but it doesn't work. So unfortunately, you have to wait for these. That's something I wanted to show you, is that unfortunately, there are ways that you can work on creating faster seed growth, but unfortunately, for things like this, you really do just have to wait. Even bone meal won't help you get to your goals of growing resources any faster. So we're going to go ahead and put those back and move on to creating seeds. So there are a lot of variety seeds in this game. These are just a few. There's a lot more you can see on the mod page here, and you can grow so many resources. You have creeper seeds that let you create materials that a creeper would create. You have gold, skystone, blaze seeds, signalum, prosperity. You can grow the shards. There's fiery ingots, tin, honey. Almost anything you can think of, you can create a seed for and then start to grow. And of course, it's not going to show up as the resource itself. Say you're growing, you know, aluminum or saltpeter or any form of metal, so silver. It's going to give you essence. And this silver essence, as you can see here, can be used to make ingots. So you'll have to grow, you know, 8 of it, but then you arrange it in a pattern and you get your material. And that works for everything. So, you know, blaze essence, right? You can use blaze essence with slime essence to make magma cream, with enderman essence to make eyes of ender, or just by itself to make blaze rods. There really is no end to the amount of things you can do with this, and no resource, almost, that you can't create. But how do you make the seeds? That's where this comes in handy. Creating seeds requires usually about 3 components. The seed base, which you'll put in the middle here, and then of the 8 pedestals, 4 of them will usually contain some kind of material, often the same material 4 times, which you'll see in a second with iron. And then the essence that you need, which is where this comes in. Inferium essence is the base essence. From there, you move up to Prudentium, Tertium, Imperium, and Supremium. Now there's a little bit further. There's Awakened Supremium, and then sometimes you can fool around with stuff like, you know, there's Creative Essence or Insanium Essence, but we're going to stick to kind of the base 5 right here. So first up, we're going to get into how to actually make the Evolved Essence before you get into making the seeds. because I want to show y'all how to make an iron seed. But to do that, you need a higher level of essence. You can see the recipe right down here. If you go for iron seed, go to infusion crafting, you can see it requires tertium essence. So that's a third level of essence, and it takes a while to get there from inferium, which is why I said you're going to need a lot. To get there from inferium up to tertium, you need infusion crystals. So each of these is a crystal that you can use to power up your essence. It consumes a lower level to create a smaller number of higher level. So I have all of them here, but let's show you how to make one. It's relatively simple. You're going to need a diamond, some prosperity shards, and then for the very first level, some inferium essence. So you go to your crafting table, take a diamond, and put 1 piece or 4 pieces of prosperity shard on all of the cardinal directions, up, down, left, right, and you'll get a prosperity gemstone. From there, you take the gemstone, put it in the corner, and put some inferium essence down below it, and you'll get an inferium gemstone. Now from here, the recipe gets a little more complicated. You're going to take that gemstone with 4 of each of the resources you used to already create it. Oh, blue moon, lucky me. So you're going to take your gemstone, up, down, left, and right. I know I did those backwards. And then prosperity shards on all of the corners, and you'll get an inferium crystal. So the crystal here, as you can see, offers 256 uses. What that means is you can upgrade essence 256 times. So now that we have this crystal, I think it's time that we dive right in and show you how to use it. So first up, you're going to want inferium essence. Now, just to get ahead of this, you can use any of these crystals for any level of transference. So you could use an inferium infusion crystal to make all the way to supremium essence. But you're going to burn a lot of crystals because it only has 256 uses, as to where the supremium crystal has 4,096. And if you get all the way up to an insanium crystal, which are a little harder to do, you can get a lot more uses out of it. But again, we're not going to talk about insanium today. So just grab, we already have some essence in our inventory. Go to your crafting bench, put this crystal in the middle, and put 4 on either side. And you have 1 prudentium essence. So to make this a little easier, we're going to grab a handful of this, put the infusion crystal in the middle, and then a stack of 64 on each of the 4 directions. And shift click, and you get an entire stack of prudentium. So again, recognize that that took 4 stacks of 64 inferium to make 1 stack of 64 prudentium, and it continues to scale that way through each of the levels. So these 4 stacks of prudentium would make 1 stack of tertium, 4 stacks of tertium for 1 stack of imperium, 4 stacks of imperium for 1 stack of supremium. You can understand why it takes a lot of inferium essence to get through this mod, which is why I recommend that you make a really, really big farm of your inferium essence, because this one's at 29% growth so far. So anyway, now we're back to this, and I realized that I lied to y'all. Upon thinking about it further, you do actually have to upgrade your inferium infusion crystal to keep climbing up the ladder, because as you can see here, it's not letting me use this prudentium essence to upgrade things. Whereas if I go back and grab a prudentium version, you can then upgrade your material to tertium. So I had just completely misremembered, and that's my bad. Alright, but it doesn't work in reverse either, so let it be known. I had misremembered about it working upward. It doesn't work downward either. You can only use this to move from inferium up, and then you're going to need this crystal to work on your prudentium, this one to work on your tertium, etc. So as you're continuing to get through this mod, remember it's going to be important to make more of these crystals. So now that we've done that, it's time to start talking about actually making a variety of seeds, and we're going to start off with the iron seed. So for this, you're going to need, again, 3 major components. You're going to need 4 bars of iron, not very expensive. You're going to need 4 tertium essence, which we already have 16 that we just made, so we'll take 4 of that. And then you're going to need a seed, not a regular seed, mind you. You're going to need a prosperity seed, which takes 1 seed and 4 prosperity shards. And it's done like this. These are the base for basically every seed that you'll make. It's called a prosperity seed base for a reason. So after you have all of those different materials, put them onto your hotbar for convenience, and you're going to want to come to this grid. Now you're going to have to make this yourself. These are called infusion altars and infusion petals, and they're not horribly expensive to make. The infusion petals cost stone, red wool, and gold ingots, and you will have to make 8 of the pedestals. So it does get a little costly for gold and for the wool if you don't have any sheep. And then the infusion altar, which is much the same, just a little different, 2 gold, some stone. It just takes slightly more stone. So you're going to need 1 altar and 8 of these different pedestals arranged like this. Now, I'm not going to show you the exact arrangement because if you take an infusion altar and lay it down, it will automatically show you where to place all of the infusion pedestals around it. So just place the infusion altar wherever you would like it. Add the infusion pedestals where it tells you to. Again, there will be ghosts of each pedestal to direct you where to place them. And then you will be ready to craft seeds with the addition of a redstone signal. I like to just put a button right next to my altar, which will work plenty fine. You just click it when you're ready to make your seed and it'll do the work for you, but you can use a lever, a pressure plate, whatever makes you happiest. So once you have this set up, you start laying out your ingredients. Now each of them is different, obviously, but you can use this toolbar here to find the recipe you need. For iron seeds, you're going to see that we need to have the prosperity seed base in the middle. The corners are going to be iron ingots, and the up, down, left, and right are going to be the tertium essence. So we'll go ahead and lay that out by putting iron ingots on each of these areas, and you can see they float above the pedestals so you know that you've placed it, plus that little pop noise. And then we'll put the tertium essence on each of the cardinal up, down, left, and rights. So now that we have that done, you take your prosperity seed base, drop it in the middle, and hit the button. You can see very clearly that it's working, and once it has finished, you will have an iron seed. So just right click the altar and you will have yourself the iron seed. Again, this is the method that you're going to use to make every single one of your seeds throughout the game. And there are a lot of recipes, and some of them are more convoluted than others, so if you want a Certus quartz seed, it's just use Certus quartz. But if you want something like an earth seed, you have to get into using something that's called earth agglomeratio. There's one for earth, air, fire, water, and we can get into that in another video if you're interested. It can also be hard with certain other seeds, like a creeper seed is going to need something called a soul jar full of creeper essence. And again, these just take a lot of effort to get. It's worth it once you get the seeds rocking, but it can be very, very difficult to get this started. So we'll go into that in another video if y'all are interested. Alright, so now that you have some seeds, the last step is just, again, all you have to do is plant them from this point forward. You can see our Inferium seed throughout this tutorial has grown to 71%, and it's going to keep growing. And when it's ready to harvest, it'll tell you in that tooltip in the top there. You can right click, harvest it, and keep going. Out of this, you'll get Inferium essence, that stuff that we've talked about over and over again. But it'll also have a very, very small chance of giving you a seed of some kind. Well, not of some kind, of Inferium essence. The chance is just very small. But it is possible, so keep your eyes out for that, especially if you are able to set up a large automatic farming operation for these. You can expand it pretty easily by giving it time, getting those seeds to build up, and then replanting them to further your farming space. But there's just all kinds of things you can plant. I mean, here we already have an iron seed we just made, but I also have a diamond seed, and you just drop them right in the ground and watch their growth. As a small plant, basically all of these will look exactly the same, because we can take another Inferium essence, plant it there, and you can't tell the difference between Inferium essence and an iron seed. But once it grows, you'll be able to start telling the difference. There's colors, each of the plants has their own design, and it'll just keep going. And there's also some resources that are really, really cool that you can make out of the essence themselves. So a Supremium furnace, right? This operates at a 4,000% speed increase from your standard furnace and has 800% fuel efficiency. Meaning, if I take this, and we're going to have to hop into creative real quick, let's grab some coal. We'll just take one single piece of coal. That's it. One single piece of coal. And I don't know, let's do iron ore. So we'll just take an entire 64 stack of iron ore. We will leave creative mode, open this furnace, put one single piece of coal in with our 64 iron ore, and you can see how quickly this is working. I have no doubt that that one piece of coal is going to cook an entire stack of iron ore. So these are just incredibly efficient tools that you can use to help further yourself as you approach the end game. So you can see there pretty perfectly 1 piece of coal for 64 iron ingots, which is just incredibly efficient and saves you on a lot of resource gathering. There's also all kinds of armor, which is on par, if not better, than diamond armor or other types, and then a bunch of tools that work the same. I mean, the sword can swing for 24 hit points. It's an incredibly strong weapon, and armors can have stats too. If you're able to get all the way to the rarest of the armor, the Awakened Supremium armor, you can see it's a very busy tooltip, but under tier 5 it says set bonus plant growth AoE. So if you were to take each of those pieces of armor, it would actually make the plants around you grow faster just from you being in the area. So it really helps you, again, kick off these farms and grow things further. So there's just a whole lot that you can do with this, but the most important part is that, again, you are just able to mostly automate, especially with time in the late game and some of the machines you can use, automate any kind of resource you need to remove it from the ability, or from you having to find it. And it can be very hard. You know, creating a diamond seed takes a lot of work. Creating an iron seed even takes a lot of work. But once you have it, you save yourself all of the trouble of having to hunt those rare materials down in the mine. It does take time, but you can go work on something else, like magics, like flowers, or building a town, whatever you want to do, and then swing on by a little later, take the additional seeds you've gotten to expand your efforts, and take the materials you've gotten to pour towards whatever you need. So super excited for y'all to get into this mod. It's absolutely one of my favorites for getting resources online and helping push for the late game. Either way, it has been me, Dandy, once again bringing all of y'all lovelies through this Minecraft tutorial. So I hope y'all are really having fun on all the mods 9 if you're playing. It's a really great mod pack, especially if you're somebody like me who loves more mods all the time. And I hope that this helped you get all of your resources online so that you're not spending 100 hours strip mining to try to find those diamonds and that gold. Obviously, let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to learn about, or if you need me to do a part 2 of this mod and go a little deeper into creating harder seeds, or creating some of the, maybe automating the processes. But other than that, I really appreciate y'all for hanging out. Click subscribe if you like what you saw, and I'll talk to you next time. Later!